Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Integration Quest MuleSoft Study Group. Today we have Ali with us. So glad that she's here with us for part 4 of this data relay that we've been doing, that we've been going through. We're getting caught up, and this is it's packed full of all sorts of really cool things. Last time we were doing this, Angela was showing us how to handle the Tableau. Today, we're going into Slack. Ali's going to show us how Slack is going to deliver these insights and just how it all works together, how it just keeps on working. So she's got the torch and she's going to be handling that today. It may be a lightsaber. They said in Chicago at the Dreaming and Data that it wasn't a torch necessarily. It may be a lightsaber. I don't know what they're handing off, but she's got it, whatever it is, and she's going to be carrying it on. So thank you so much for being here with us and showing us today, Ali, what we may. Some of us, like myself, I missed it. I didn't go to Chicago, so now we get to see. So I'm just going to do a couple things like I do. Everybody has been doing great with this. Thank you so much for following the Integration Quest Code of Conduct, where everybody just does what we know we're supposed to do and keep a clean track record on that. Thank you so much for that. We have the Integration Quest library. This is where all of these videos, if you ever miss them or say you need to drop for whatever reason, we've got you covered. So you can go out here to the library at these links and you can check out all of these videos. And we take special requests. So please let us know if there's anything out there that's like really old and we need to update to modern standards or whatever. We can do that. We also do special requests because we've done it before. People have said, hey, I'm studying up on this or whatever. What do you all think about it? And we just did a study group on it, and we can come in and we can do that sort of thing. So please let us know. Drop it in the comments if anything's helping you. We love to be helping out and hearing your feedback. We have with us today, like I said, Ali. She has a passion for doing this. She's been doing this for a while now, and it's not just about the credentials, like I always say. So we have all this expertise packed into what she's been doing with us and everything. But it's not just about that. It's the fact that she's coming and willing to contribute and share and give back, and that is what we appreciate. Like all these certifications and everything wouldn't mean anything because if she just kept it to herself. She's sharing with us, and I appreciate her doing that. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop sharing so that way she can come and do that. Y'all help me give her a nice warm welcome for being here with us today. Thank you so much, Ali. And like I told you, I'll keep an eye on the chat. If anybody has questions, y'all just drop them in the chat and I'll come on screen and raise my hand and we'll keep it going. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Let me share my screen, hopefully the right screen. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to move you over here where I can hopefully still see you. But thanks for having me today. I'm really excited to continue the data relay and talk more about Slack. Today we'll be connecting Slack and Salesforce, making some updates to the agent that was already built, and then deploying that agent out into Slack. So I guess I'll just start with talking about why we might want to deploy that agent that we're going to be kind of making some tweaks and updates to into Slack. So that just helps to meet users where they work. So folks are already inside of Slack. They're already talking to each other. Bringing the agent into Slack means that the agent comes to you at work. You don't have to go to it. So that just makes it easier for folks to continue in the flow of work. And of course, an agent in Slack doesn't just reply, it can do things. So the conversation and the outcome happen in the same place. And then it has consistent behavior across your whole team. So if you're thinking about Claude or Slackbot or these other tools, Agentforce kind of has those guardrails in place, the same quality of response, whether I'm using it, Archie's using it, Diane's using it, whoever's using it, it has the same kind of behavior for everyone because of those guardrails that we put in place. And it also just allows you to scale without adding headcount. So all of those repetitive tasks can get handled by an agent instantly and around the clock. So I just want to talk a little bit about Slack and how Salesforce has been positioned it as the system of engagement. So really Slack is where we can start to engage with all of our tools, not just our agents, but also Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, all the clouds. And pull context out of Data 360, pull context in the work out of those clouds and bring it all into Slack where people can engage with it, without needing to leave the platform, which is really great. So I'll hop right into kind of showing you how we're going to get everything connected. This part is pretty straightforward. So what we have here is the Slack platform connector. So that's going to be one of our first steps, but actually I'll back up just a little bit. For you to get a sandbox to set up Slack, we're going to go to slack.dev. And you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. So this is the new Slack developer platform. Down here at the bottom, you can sign up for a developer sandbox. So you'll just log in, make an account, and then go to your dashboard. And then from there, you can see I have a couple of sandboxes. You're going to sign up, make a whole new sandbox. It'll take a couple minutes to provision it. And then you'll have that sandbox for 181 days, but you can always request to extend it if you're building something really cool in the sandbox and you want to keep it around. So to keep us moving, I've already spun up a sandbox for today. But again, you'll just go to the Slack developer website, scroll away at the bottom, and get your own sandbox spun up so that you can get started. And these are enterprise grid sandboxes. So if you're already using Slack at your current job and you're on Pro or Business Plus, enterprise grid just gives some extra features and functionality that are not available to you in Pro and Business Plus. You get unlimited Slack bot. You can have Sales Elevate, which isn't actually available in this sandbox, but I'll make sure to show you before the end of this. Enterprise just has a completely different architecture. So if you're interested in learning more about Slack, this is a really good way to also just have an enterprise sandbox that you can use to poke around in. So now that I have my sandbox, I'm going to go ahead and install the Slack platform connector for all users. I'm just going to check this box, make sure I'm authorized to install it, and I'm going to install and grant access to all of the users. This will take a couple of minutes in the background. So while that is installing, I can give you just a rundown of what are some limitations of Agentforce in Slack. So when we bring Agentforce into Slack, we can DM or @mention the agent in any channel. A limitation there is the casual conversation flow. So if we're using the actual agent pop-up in Slack, we can talk to the agent conversationally. But if I'm mentioning them in a channel, I need to @mention the agent every time. We can find agents, browse by skill set, and access previous threads inside of Slack. I can share prompts that I make with my teammates. I can, once I connect to Salesforce, look up and update Salesforce CRM records. I can trigger existing Salesforce flows. I can use it to summarize content. And then the really great part about Enterprise is being able to extend it with Enterprise Search. So I can connect to Salesforce, to Jira, to my Outlook inbox, and search all of those tools, either the out-of-the-box integrations or some custom-built Enterprise Search without needing to leave Slack. All right, so that is done installing. And what I'm going to do is go over to my setup, and then I know I'm going to need my domain in just a step or two. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So the first thing we're going to do is request our connection inside of Slack. So we're going to click on the name of our workspace, which I've just named Relay. And then we're going to navigate down here to Tools and Settings, and then to Manage Salesforce Organizations to be taken to our Salesforce org page. So if you've played around in Slack before, again, non-enterprise, this kind of admin panel might look a little different to you. So this is the enterprise specific admin panel. It's got a couple more things here on the side, but we're going to go straight to our Salesforce organizations and connect to a Salesforce org. So I'm going to go back to that my domain, and I'm going to grab my domain here. I need the full URL. And I'm going to turn off map user accounts automatically. So if I had this set up, at Brid or at your company, you might have SAML set up so that you have people automatically being provisioned, or I maybe want to match on email. But because this is just a sandbox, and I've got a lot of random fake users in there, I'm just going to turn that off for now. But if you're setting this up for real, and people do have the same email inside of Slack and Salesforce, or you have SAML set up, you can choose one of these. And I'm going to turn on show Salesforce connection banner prompt just so it'll prompt people to connect to Salesforce on the Slack side. So I'm going to go ahead and click Request Connection. And then it's going to tell me that it was sent to my Salesforce org admin for approval. So now I need to pivot and go back over to Salesforce. So we're going to go Slack, Salesforce, and then one more approval back over in Slack. So inside Salesforce, I'm going to search for Manage Slack Connection. And then you'll see that relay org that I requested the connection in over here has popped up. I can click Agree to Terms and then approve it. Okay, so now you'll see that it's waiting for activation by my Slack admin. So now I need to go back over to Slack and I'll just refresh this page and you'll see that it is ready to activate. So I'm going to click View Details and then I'm going to activate my connection and I'm going to click Activate one more time. And now you'll see that my Slack and my Salesforce org are connected. So super straightforward process to get the two connected just to get started. And then from there, I'm going to click on the Users tab. I'm going to click Add Individually. And then I'm going to add my user that has this crazy long name. I'm going to grant access. And so now my user will have access between the Salesforce org and our Slack, our Salesforce demo org. So I'm going to go back over to my Slack workspace and I'm going to click Sign in to Salesforce. And here's the org that I connected. I'm going to click Continue. Continue to Salesforce. There's another pop-up that you can't see, but I'm going to be logging into Salesforce in this other pop-up. So let me copy my username and password. I log in. Okay, and now my account is connected since I have logged in. So you'll see I'm all set. Those are connected. And now you see the Salesforce section has popped up on the side where my two are connected. And this is also where I'll be able to see list views that I have available to me as well over here.
I miss them. I'm over here cheering and clapping. It's the handshake. It's the handshake like we do in the earlier stages between, Mule and Salesforce and now Slack. And it's just like, those are the integrations, folks. Sorry, just had to share it.
Yeah. No, it's always great when you get the two connected, like, because now I have access to all the things that you connected in MuleSoft inside of Slack. So
yeah,
you really see like every little thing come together.
Yeah. So I miss our emojis. That's one thing I miss. There's doesn't have them. So anyway, I'm over that. We're doing the fireworks and cheer. Great. Okay, carry on.
Okay, cool. All right, so now I've got those two connected. You'll see down here Slackbot just confirms that I've got those connected. So I can go back. So now I'm going to go back over to Salesforce. And now I want to make some edits to our agent. So we've got that order agent. And now I want to give it some things to do inside of Slack. So I'm going to go to Agentforce agents in the search. Give it a second to load. I'm going to open up that agent. And then I'm going to open the agent up in the builder. So right now I can't edit it because it's active. So I'm going to go ahead and deactivate the agent really quick. I might need to reload. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So now that the agent is deactivated, I can make some edits to it. I want to make some edits to the order management part of the agent. So I'm going to click on this sub agent for order management. And then I want to look at this sub-agent's actions and add a new action. I'm going to add it from the library. Because now that Slack and Salesforce are connected, I should have some extra things in here. So I wanted to make a Slack canvas. You can also have it create a Slack channel if you wanted, like maybe if an order got escalated, we could tell the agent to automatically make a channel. But you've got quite a few Slack actions in here. But I'm also going to give it the update a Slack canvas action and then share a Slack canvas and also send a message to a Slack channel. So now I've been given the ability to create some canvases in Slack, send those canvases to a channel, send messages to public and private channels in Slack. I'm really just giving the agent the ability to interact more with the user inside of Slack. So I'll click finish. And it's going to go ahead and add those sub-agent actions for me. And then I'm going to go back over to the sub-agent configuration tab. And then I want to add some extra instructions to the agent just so it knows what to do with those new actions that I gave it. So I'm just going to copy from over here because typing live is always a risk. So I'm going to give it the instruction. If a user requests to add the order management details to a canvas, then create a canvas in Slack. And then I want to give it one more instruction. If a user requests an order escalation in Salesforce, create a Salesforce channel in Slack and send the order management details in a Slack message to that channel. So I've given the agent 2 new actions to take. I'm going to go ahead and save those. And so now when I'm using this agent, if I ask it to escalate, it should make a Salesforce channel inside of Slack that's connected to the Salesforce record for that order. And then if I want it to make a canvas, it should be able to do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the agent again.
Someone said instead of the dots like that it should be Astro going around in this. And on MuleSoft, it should be going around in a circle. I thought
that would be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to just go ahead and ignore and activate, and that should be good. Okay, so we've reactivated the agent. I'm going to click back into this agent one more time. So now we need to connect that agent to Slack. So I've given it some instructions on what to do in Slack, but we haven't connected it to Slack just yet. So I'm going to go back to my agent. I'm not going to open it in the builder, but I'm going to open up the details. And I'm going to go to connections. So on this connections sub-tab, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, again to connections, and then click add. And then I'm going to choose API, and I'm just going to call this Slack. And I'm going to pick the Slack connected app. I say this every time. I know it shows up 4 times. One day I will submit a ticket to see why it does that once you connect Slack, but you can just pick the first one and you should be good. And then I'll click save. And now the agent becomes available to install in our Slack org. So I'm going to go back over to my Slack settings here. And then I'm going to, you'll see I'm on Salesforce. I'm going to click on Agentforce here. And then you'll see that agent, that customer order agent that we just connected to Slack now pops up with ready to install. So super simple to get those connected. I'm going to click review. And then from here, you can see the scopes that the agent has. So it can act as an AI agent in Slack to write to Slack. It can chat in public channels and write to those channels. I've given it the ability to view, create, and edit Slack canvases. And then it can also just write to groups. So I'll click allow. And it's going to think about it. And now I have my Relay workspace that's available in my enterprise grid. If you have multiple workspaces and you want to add it to multiple workspaces, you can just click more of them. That's a really great thing about Enterprise Grid is maybe I only want to deploy this agent to my sales team and they have their own workspace inside of Grid. I can deploy it just to them and not to the service team or other teams. It gives me a bit of ability to be a little bit more granular about who has access to this particular agent. So I'll go ahead and add it to my only workspace and click add. And then I'm going to click on everyone so that everyone in that workspace can use the agent. If you wanted to, you could, have this agent available to no one in that workspace or to specific people and groups. So if you're using an IDP to assign groups inside of Slack, you can determine there who should be allowed to use the agent. So maybe you want to kind of beta test it inside a workspace. Maybe you only want managers to have access to it. You can get even more granular than just the workspace. You can actually just assign the agent to only specific people getting access to it. So I'll just assign to everyone for now and click save. And now we can head over to the Slack workspace and refresh Slack. And I'll click on this notification if it will. Oop, frozen up a bit. Okay, so you'll see my custom order agent has been added to a workspace and that members of the workspace now have access to use it. So I'll just click on that and you'll see that the agent is installed in the Relay workspace. And again, if I wanted to go back and look at the scopes that the agent has, I can click on agent permissions and then member permissions if I want to edit that. So I'll go back over here. So I'm going to more and then tools, and then I'll go to agents. And there is my custom order agent. So you'll see that it is giving me some prompts here if I wanted to click on these. And it's a bit more customer facing prompts. So I can always go back into the agent inside of Salesforce, inside the builder, and give it some additional instructions to talk to me more like I am not a customer, but an internal person that is getting those orders for the customer. But I can still ask it questions as if I, am a person supporting a customer. But I can ask it questions. So if I go back here, I can ask it questions about what is the most recent order. It's going to think about it and try to find it. All right, so the most recent order was from Kylo Ren for $22,499. I can ask it for more details about the order. So let's just say escalate this order to see if our other instructions worked for it to make a channel for it. Okay, it's connecting me to a service rep, which is not what I wanted it to do. So that means I need to go in and refine my instructions. Oh, yeah.
I think that answers the question in the chat too. So Don was asking, so we can control those suggested questions via instructions, and you're fixing to do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah. So in my instructions that I gave it, it should, when I ask it for an order escalation, create a Salesforce channel, but you'll see that I said in Salesforce. So let's see if taking out the in Salesforce corrects that for me.
You know what else, Allie? In the other sub-agents, there is an escalation in there. So yeah, you can remove that one if you want. That may be overriding or it may be conflicting.
Yep, it is.
Okay, yeah. So if we want to remove that one, that's fine.
Okay. I'll remove that from the agent for now. And then double check my instructions here. Perfect. I'll reactivate it.
I tell people it's like a 2-year-old. You've got to tell it exactly what you want it to do and what you don't want it to do.
Yes.
We gave conflicting information. I left that one escalation in there. So
yeah, to me, that's the fun part about working on Agentforce, though, is like getting really granular till it figures out what I'm trying to get it to do.
yeah.
It's kind of like a puzzle, and
Yeah.
I really like puzzles.
Love it.
So I'm going to go back over here. I'm just going to refresh and then start a new conversation. And we'll see if the escalation works. But if not, we can always troubleshoot that later. Okay, so now it's given me some important notes. Escalation is recommended. Let's see if it'll make the channel. Perfect. Okay, to proceed, I'll create a Slack channel for the escalations and share the order details here. It's gonna double, triple check, which is good. It's good. It's better than it taking some rogue actions. So now I can see looks like it sent it to me as a direct message instead of making a channel. But that's okay. We can refine those instructions again, but I can just show you the Salesforce Channels feature since it is being a little persnickety about creating one. So Salesforce Channels give you the ability to connect your records between Salesforce and Slack. So you'll see here, I can see all of the list views that are available to me inside of Salesforce, inside of Slack. If we're looking at Sales Elevate, I would have a slightly different view of these, but if I want to go perhaps to, I don't know if I have any recently viewed contacts, but from here, I'd be able to see all of my records inside of Salesforce if I had any assigned to me. So let's try
and you know what, Allie, I wonder if now we've not created records for any of these orders. And I wonder if that might cause it to have a hiccup, although it should have created that in Slack. But I know so I wonder if we had another sub-agent that did go ahead and create records for each of these orders, because none of that's been done. I didn't go that far, with the orders as they came in. FYI, I didn't know if that would be, really we could and should. And so could do another sub-agent that, invokes a flow that puts all of these orders as a record, and kind of, go further with it. You think that would make a difference for here?
Yeah, I think that's the blocker we're hitting is the order isn't a record, so it can't create the Salesforce channel.
Yeah.
But we can at least test out the other sub-agent that we gave, or the other instruction that we gave the sub-agent to make a canvas. So we can at least test that one out.
Yeah, and it's funny. I know what a canvas is now. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then I was asked, "Oh, just go ahead and make a canvas," and I'm like, "Sure, Allie, what's a canvas?" Oh, that was funny.
Okay, so if that instruction does work, and it did create a canvas for us, so a canvas is just a file inside of Slack Think of it as kind of a super powered Google Doc that lives inside of Slack, where I can link to users. If I wanted to, I could display this as a card. If I had a picture of me and things there. So it's if you used to use Quip, it's kind of like a super powered Quip inside of Slack, where I can converse with others. I can share this canvas to channels. I can share this canvas as a DM. It's a good place for people to collaborate. I can even, add comments maybe. So if I wanted to add a comment over here and talk about with my team, like, hey, what does it mean the payment authorization is unstable? Like, how do we resolve this? I can always comment. I can tag people here. It treats it just like any other Slack thread. So when I have an escalation, that part of the agent does work. But theoretically, if this was making order records inside Salesforce, we could create Salesforce channels from this. But I'm happy to answer any questions about bringing the order agent into Slack. Anything else anyone is curious about what you can do in Slack?
I don't have any questions, but I have comments like, wow, just wow. This is great. This is the human in the loop, folks. User interface.
Yeah. You got the handshake, and I didn't need to edit anything out. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind editing out. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying things happen in real life, but that was smooth.
I like your assistant there.
Yeah, she's been helping. Yep.
So, Allie, if I were to create like I said, a flow that creates a record for each of the orders, we could fine tune this a little bit more too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi,
Ella. If every order is created as a record, then the Salesforce channel will create, because it'll be linked to the order record.
Okay. I could probably go in there and modify it on the Salesforce side and do that, and then maybe we could test it on this side. So yeah, not right today, but yeah. Because this is what I want to do is, as we are progressing forward, I purposely didn't want to do anything at first with the raw orders coming out to show that the agent could filter it and could do, but it still will not take away from that. We could still have it, creating the records, and then also, and realistically, we should have contacts in there too, so we could attach. So I'm just thinking out loud here. What else to add to this that would make it meaningful?
Yeah. Once those records are in there, we are able to get our list views and query them. But the cool thing is, even without the records in there, I know we were doing this when we were in Chicago. Like, who has the most expensive order, Luke or Leia? Or I think we asked it which of Darth Vader's children has the most expensive order.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about this. I mean, you can just work it out to be exactly what you need it to be.
Well, what's interesting too is that in person, when we were all together, and it should do this, it actually knew who Darth Vader's children are.
There you go.
Yeah, it did do it though before. I wonder why it's, I guess it's the Atlas reasoning agent. Different ones would figure out different things. Yeah. Darth Vader. Well, isn't he the high dollar? He's a big spender. But I think we could compare where you were headed before, but you could, ask it who spent more. Yeah. So they're in a natural language, you can communicate with the agent like this, and it's really just working on, there's no filters, it's just working off of its own understanding and the Atlas reasoning agent. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to be able to just chat with it like you would chat with a coworker.
Yeah. I like to even do with mine. I'll tell it to tell me a funny joke. Sometimes they're pretty lame, but sometimes they're really pretty funny. Anyway, awesome. Any questions?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions on how you could implement this in the real world or at work or whatever. Sammy's asking a question in the chat. He's asking, how does Agentforce respect Salesforce permissions when users ask questions in Slack? For example, if a user cannot see a record in Salesforce, will Agentforce also block that data in Slack? It's a good question, Sammy.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so because your Salesforce user and your Slack user are connected, it respects all the permissions that you have in Salesforce. So if I can't see the record inside of Salesforce, then I can't see it inside of Slack. And then the agent won't give me any of that information either.
Yeah, good question. I know the like for example with the API, the to grant the agent access to the API, the MuleSoft API, the orders API that we had, I had to add the agent to the permission set for that API. And you'll see that in that segment. But like on Slack, it's based on the user access for Slack, right, Allie? Yeah.
Okay. Sammy's got another good one. All right, I'm reading these out because I know, Allie, I know you can read, but Kajabi loses the chat. So like when I put this on YouTube, you'd be answering a question and people wouldn't know what the question was. So I'm just going to read it out for our later viewers. So the next question is, how would you recommend starting? Should we first use Agentforce for answering questions, or should we immediately allow it to take actions, creating tasks and updating records? Another great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think it's fine to start with it, like updating records and creating tasks, as long as you give it the right guardrails inside of Salesforce. Like you'll see, we had those conflicting sub-agent actions, and it really did respect like what Diane had in there about escalations to just send it straight to a person, even though I put that instruction in there. So as long as you're creating really good guardrails, you have detailed sub-agents and actions and guardrails just around the agent, I think it's perfectly fine to start with an agent that answers your questions and can take actions off the back of those questions.
Yeah, one of the agents we create in the hyperautomation class, we even will tell it like, after you have done this, then go and create a case, or like, you know, so even in its instructions, we will tell it to do that next thing, that next task. And that one actually is, I haven't populated that one into Slack. I really need to do that. That one has got a lot more that it does because there's a lot more flows associated with it. So I'll continue to build this out.
I like it. I like seeing how it's growing and developing.
I know, that's the fun part.
Yeah. The next question kind of follows up with that last one, is how do we monitor what Agentforce did after it takes an action? For example, can admins see logs, activity history, or audit records?
Yes. If I can steal screen share.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give it back to you. I just wanted something on screen. Let me put it out there and so you can. There you go.
Okay, so if you go into the agent builder and then events, I can see all the sessions. So I'll just click into this most recent one. And then from there, I can see the messages like where I asked it about Darth Vader's kids as the most expensive order. I can see that it tried to answer my question. I can see what steps the agent took. If I go back and maybe look at one where it gave me an answer. So can you add the order details to a canvas? I can see the text input, the event ID. So I'm able to track all of the actions that the agent is taking, whether it succeeds or fails in answering my question. So it'll tell me if it was successfully created a canvas. And then it will also just look at its response here. So, and it will also just look and see if like it adhered to the instructions, which is very helpful. But from there, you can come in and just see all of the sessions that happened with that particular agent. So you can see what people are asking it. Is it giving the right responses? Is it, using the right instruction to answer that response? I can see all that in the session and event logs.
That's a good way to keep up with it all. I like seeing that. And then you can make, as you're checking, like for instance, where somebody asked about Darth Vader's children and you didn't like that response, you can make changes there on the back end of things for your Slack users. I like that. Next question is, can Agentforce summarize Salesforce data in Slack, like open tasks by team, delayed requests, or sales performance by location?
Yeah, so this agent is specifically for the orders, but you can have an employee agent that's connected to Salesforce and deployed in Slack that you can ask it those kind of questions. So it'll query against whatever, like I said, whatever Salesforce data I have access to, it'll give me a response, based on what I can see. I think that Angela will be going next week into like Tableau and bringing that into Slack. So I think maybe Tableau will have like a more holistic view. Angela, correct me if I'm wrong, about like the data inside of Salesforce. But from the perspective, like asking it questions about like open task by team, I would just need to have access to all of that inside of Salesforce for it to surface that in Slack. But I'm not sure about how the Tableau part works for like sales performance, if Tableau can give you like the more holistic look instead of just like what sales performance perhaps my user can see.
That's good. That's good. Let's see this next question here. Okay. And thank you for these questions, Sammy. This is awesome. So the next one is, what are the main limitations we would be aware of when using Agentforce in Slack? For example, are there limits around record updates, permissions, approvals, or complex multi-step business processes?
Yeah, that's a great question. So every agent will have its limitations, and there are some things that are more limited on the Slack side. Like I said, we do have to like mention it if we're not talking to it in the context of that like agent window. If I'm talking to it in the channel, around record updates, it should be able to make most updates to records. It should be able to like append files and things. For approvals, I know like at Braid, we've built a custom approvals hub for Salesforce and Slack. The agent should be able to do most things, but I know some customers have like really complex approval processes that are using like a lot of flows or like the new like flow builder and things like that. So I think an agent might have some difficulty with that, but for the most part, you can do most things with Agentforce in Slack. It's just if it gets become like more complex approvals, it depends on what you mean by multi-step business processes. Like we could adjust an agent to do a lot of things because the flows and things will happen on the Salesforce side, and we're just surfacing like the outcome of that in Slack. So it would just depend on the specific use case, what the limitation would be.
Yeah, like in that multi-step that we give the agent for the hyperautomation course, we'll say, if this is asked, run this flow. After you're done with that, run this flow using this as input for that. So it really starts to get very, pretty complex for what it's needing to do and invoking along the way the flows that are in Salesforce. So yeah, you can. It's pretty fascinating how it will do that.
Yeah, it is. Angela's confirming what you were saying in the chat too. She said, yeah, this was great. So she's thanking you for everything that you've done here, Allie. And she is also saying that that is spot on. For a previous session, she did use an independent data set for Tableau dashboard. And then she's saying that she would love to connect to the data source in Salesforce. And with that, you would get a holistic view, and it would then drill down for granularity. So we would then drill down for granularity. Cool. All right, Angela, sounds good. Are you thinking that you might do that in 2 weeks? I'll leave it up to you. Looking forward to seeing that. Good deal.
Yeah, and Angela, by then too, what I'll do, and I'll have Allie kind of double check it on the Slack side too, is I'll get, I'd like to get the contacts created and the records created for the orders and kind of, have some of that built out too.
Good. Yep, that we'll have plenty of time to get that done, it sounds like. Sammy is asking if there is a guide or reference article that you recommend, like any official documentation you would recommend for understanding Agentforce in Slack limitations and like best practices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still screen share one more time.
Yeah,
so here are some resources. So the first two are trailheads, so connecting your Agentforce org with Slack, and then Agentforce configuration for Slack deployment. So it's pretty much what we did today, but for I think it's a product agent that's in the trailhead. And then Agentforce Labs is super helpful with like some new things that are coming out in Agentforce, things you can beta test. Agent Exchange, where you can download pre-made agents or get them from partners that have made them. And then this is Slack help around Agentforce in Slack. So hopefully these are helpful. QR codes.
Good deal. Yeah, we can just scan those right off of there, and I'll go ahead and I'll link all those out and put them in the description on YouTube. So that way, if people don't want to, they don't have to use their phone, but I like using my phone, scanning the QR code. You've got it right there. Yeah, exactly. Look at her. She's going. Perfect. All right.
Speak.
Yeah. So it works just like that. Awesome questions, everyone. Thank you so much for contributing. And as we're going, having questions, I love that. I love the interaction. And thank you again, Ali, for being here today. This was great. We appreciate handling day 4 of this. It started out, it was going to be 3 days. And then we're like, all right, now it's 4 days. Now it's 5 days. Who knows what the future has in store, but we're just learning so much. I've learned a lot today. I hope everybody else has too. Thank you again for being here. I'll just do this little plug, just quick little plugs. We've got next week, we've got Vincent coming in. He's going to be handling and showing us some just managing agentic enterprise. He's got a plan. He's got a big plan. And I was looking at it. It looks really big, really cool. And then 2 weeks from now, we've got Angela coming back for day 5 of this, and we'll see where it goes from there. Like I said, it may just continue building. So yeah, we've got a lot of good reinforcement in the chat. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. Again, thank you, Ali, for taking the time away from your day and your week and being here with us. I'm going to stop recording so that way we can talk and chat like we always do. And we'll just see you all in the next study group. Thank you, everyone.